Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you tune in, that's the time it is. All right, so now Don Lemon says he will not be silenced, and he speaks out after the ICE protest. So what I want to do first, I want to read a statement from Don Lemon, and we're going to go over here. And this is a statement from Don Lemon. And he says, I want to thank everyone for their support. It means the world to me. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than this very moment for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for doing what I have been doing for 30 years. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects that work for me and countless other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Okay, so that is a message from Don Lemon. And the next thing we're going to swing over here. Now, I don't know if this is current or not. You know, I listened to a little bit of the video, but I'm assuming that this is just an update here. And I don't see the date of it. So shout out to CNN. Okay, and I would not be silenced. Don Lemon speaks out after anti-ICE protest arrest. So let's go over here and see what's going on here.
Turned independent journalist Don Lemon appeared in federal court this afternoon to face charges related to a live streaming report he did at a protest during a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota. Here's what he told reporters afterwards.
Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court.
Well, along with Don Lemon, 3 other people were arrested, including Minnesota independent journalist Georgia Ford.
Don Lemon, he sound like he ready to go. All right, he ready to stand 10 toes down. Go ahead now.
She went before Judge today. She joins us tonight. We'll have that interview in a moment. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the arrests are connected to a, quote, coordinated attack on City's church nearly 2 weeks ago. But Lemon and Ford say they were doing their jobs as journalists and were not protesters. All 4 arrested are charged with 1 count of conspiracy against right of religious freedom at place of worship and 1 count of injure, intimidate, and interfere with exercise of right of religious freedom at place of worship.
Right, so that's the FACE Act, and I covered that in another video. But just to bring everybody up, after we watch the video, I'm going to Google that again, and we're going to go over what he just read.
In announcing their arrests on social media this morning, Bondi used the words, quote, at my direction, which is not what you typically see from an attorney general. The White House has posted this photo with the words, when life gives you lemons, along with a chain emoji. President Trump has been critical, obviously, of Don Lemon for years. Lemon himself has not been shy in calling out the president and his administration. A magistrate judge had initially refused to allow federal officials to arrest Lemon and take him into custody, but they took it to a grand jury in Minnesota and got a felony indictment. The indictment, unsealed this afternoon, alleges that Don Lemon and the others charged, quote, oppressed, threatened, and intimidated the church congregants and pastors. Here's some of what Lemon said during that live stream. Take a look.
I'm just here photographing.
Are you okay?
I'm not part of the group. I'm just here photographing. I'm a journalist. We don't know. That's what they're saying. So we're here just chronicling and reporting We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them.
All right, so he made that abundantly clearer that he's not part of the group. He's just there doing his job, reporting.
Don Lemon's attorney released a statement saying in part, quote, "This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight
The Epstein files.
these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court." When agents showed up at Georgia Fort's door yesterday, she started recording. Here's some of her message.
You guys, I wanted to alert the public that agents are at my door right now. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago.
It was a live stream she did on Facebook. Journalist Georgia Fort is out of jail and joins me tonight. Georgia, first of all, how are you doing? And were you surprised that you were arrested? Obviously, previous attempts to arrest you had been blocked by federal courts.
Yeah, you know, I'm hanging in there.
Were they them two, those Don and Georgia Fort? Were they the only two journalists there? I mean, they're both black. I don't see any white journalists. I don't know if they were the only ones that was there covering the protest.
It is quite frightening to have 24 agents outside of your home. You know, my children were home with me when I was arrested.
Look at him. Oh my goodness, that's something out of Freddy Krueger. I know what you did last summer. Look at that. Oh my God, I'm a freak.
And so, yeah, just it's been a long day, and yes, it was extremely shocking.
You had 24 agents show up at your door?
Yes.
I want to read part of what the Justice Department alleged in the indictment and let you respond. They claim, and you and the other defendants, quote, entered the church in a coordinated takeover-style attack and engaged in acts of oppression, intimidation, threats, interference, and physical obstruction, they said, and, quote, as a result of defendants' conduct, the pastor and congregation were forced to terminate the church's worship service. Congregants fled the church building, fear for their safety. Other congregants took steps to implement an emergency plan, and young children were left to wonder, as one child put it, if their parents were going to die.
There.
What is your reaction to that?
Anderson, I am a journalist, just like you. I went in my capacity as a journalist. I documented as a journalist. The footage is published. It speaks for itself.
You captured video of your own arrest, federal agents outside your home. Can you just talk about that experience?
As journalists, we never want to be the story, but unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm glad she got that in 4K. Like I be telling y'all record everything and put it out there, because there's no telling what this kind of what these people would do. They already feel like they can kill and get away with it.
I did find myself in a predicament where I felt that I needed to be able to tell my own story, that I needed the world to see that journalism is on trial, that we are at a state in our nation where if you are documenting what's happening, you may be criminalized for it. You may be arrested. And so I think what is happening in Minnesota overall should be quite alarming to the entire nation. I think what happened to me today as an independent journalist, what happened to Don Lemon being arrested for reporting what's happening, I think people should be alarmed. And I think mainstream media should also be really concerned because if they can criminalize a journalist here in Minnesota, whether you're independent or not, I think that we've seen a track record where this is just going to continue to escalate.
How do you face something like this? I mean, obviously, the federal government has unlimited resources. What is your next move, both legally and just in terms of the work you do?
You know, I am a mother of 3 daughters. Right now, my focus is on making sure that they can recover from the trauma of what they experienced today and making sure that I can recover. From there, I have an incredible legal team, very reputable among media leaders across the country. And
That's
so
good.
I am counting on them to do what they do best.
Yeah.
You have no doubt that this is meant to intimidate not just yourself and Don
And
Lemon
scare,
and the
yeah.
others who
Somebody
were
looking in your
charged,
window
but
like that.
journalists everywhere.
Look at that.
I would ask you, how does it feel to you to see a journalist arrested for simply reporting the news? I would challenge every journalist in America to ask themselves how it felt to them today to see their colleagues be arrested for reporting the news. And if any of them say that it made them fearful, it made them concerned, it made them second guess going out tomorrow and covering what's happening in their communities, then yeah, I would say that that was probably the intent. It does send a chilling message to our entire industry. I've been in journalism for several years. I've been in media almost 2 decades, okay? 14 regional Emmy nominations across 2 different regions. I've won 3 regional Emmys here in the Midwest, producing my own television show as an independent journalist. And so, you know, being a journalist who's from here, who's from Minnesota, I've been on the ground. This is my community. I'm not flying in and flying out. I'm here. And I'm doing the best that I can to tell the stories of what's really happening. And as an American-born citizen, it's always been my understanding that I have that protection under the Constitution, under the First Amendment, that we have freedom of press. But today, the way that I was treated for simply doing my job, the way that I have been criminalized and dehumanized, it makes me really, really wonder if our Constitution is something of the past and if it's just a thing made up of empty promises at this point, honestly.
Are you intimidated? If that's the objective, which it certainly seems to be?
I will continue to tell the stories of my community.
All right now.
Georgia Ford, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
That is absolutely something to be concerned about. Our constitutional rights is written in the Constitution and it's afforded to every American. I mean, so, you know, this administration is really something else. And I hear a lot of people, especially on the Midas Touch network, they're calling it the regime. So I'm starting to concur with that. Okay, so some of the comments here, it's not coming, it's here. And then the comments under that, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. All right, y'all want Nick Shirley arrested for his journalism. What about the woman arrested for praying in front of the PP? Absolutely, blah. Okay, can church people enter a news station to protest? Oh, now that's a good one. So I'm going to go over here. And then while I'm over here on this screen, I'm going to look up the FACE Act. I did cover this in my my last video, and so I'm going to briefly go over that. Okay, so I want to okay, so I'm going to read 2 things. I'm going to read this one and then I'm going to go over to Wiki. All right, so I'm going to read this one here. And all right, so the FACE Act, the Freedom of Access to Clinical Entrance Act, is a federal law, and I guess they made this act when they was protesting the abortion clinics and things like that. But there's more to it. So it is a federal act that prohibits violence, threats, and intimidation against individuals seeking to provide reproductive health services. Violations include using a physical force or threats to interfere with access to clinics or places of worship. The law carries criminal penalties, including imprisonment for up to 11 years, so this is very serious, and fines up to $250,000 for violent conduct. Recent enforcement actions have led to indictments for violations of this act, highlights its ongoing relevance. So now I'm going to come up here to Wiki because I think this is a more in-depth. This is what I read in my other video. So the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, that's the FACE, F-A-C-E, or the Access Act. All right, and then, all right, all those numbers. And okay, it is a United States law that was signed by President Bill Clinton in May of 1994, which prohibits the following three things. Okay, now, number one, the use of physical force, threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any persons who is obtaining an abortion. Now, pay attention to the number two, the use of physical force, threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person who is exercising or trying to exercise their First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of worship. And then number three, the intentional damage or destruction of a reproductive health care facility or a place of worship. And then below that, it says Don Lemon was later arrested on January the 29th, 2026, and charged with violating the FACE Act with regard to his participation in a disruption of the religious service and civil rights violations of city church. So this is, in a nutshell, this is what the DOJ is going after and trying to apply this to that case, because we heard in the news report that the congregation were in fear. They tried to leave the place. They had to cancel their service, so that's a disruption. And I guess they was like in fear because, they really didn't know what was going on because it was a protest. And, 1 minute you getting your praise on, and then the next minute you have people coming in from the outside and you really don't know what's going on. And, with all these church, I don't want to say it, but crazy people out here, you don't know what type of person is going to walk up in the service or what what their intentions are. So that is in a nutshell. Okay, so I just wanted to get this video out here real quick. Put in the comments what you think. And I want to shout out to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. And also thank you for the comments. I see people is commenting. Keep commenting and forgive my little disappearance. 1 minute I'm here. Next minute, half my body is gone. Okay. Okay. So I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all be blessed. All right. I'm out.